an astonishing pick by any means. It seems like for him it wasn't pretty surprising as well, but it definitely seems to have fueled that base. I mean, you see $36 million being raised since he was announced as the VP pick. It's kind of astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of people thought it would be Shapiro or Kelly. I know there's some talk in this newsroom about who it would be.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's fascinating to me to look at the reactions, right? And to see how people think this may impact the ticket. Because there's some people who are like, I don't know if it's going to necessarily change the aspect of the race. Because there's the aspect of the vice president, what they're going to do during the campaign, if they can actually elevate your ticket. I remember speaking with I believe it was Dr. Wink I spoke to, but I'm not going to. It was someone I was speaking to recently who said the VP won't necessarily give you votes, but it could lose votes for you.
Absolutely.
And, you know, in this race, obviously, you know, J.D. Vance the past few weeks has been getting some negative media coverage.
We saw the childless cat ladies, and then what else? He had a couple of moments where his base was, oh, what are we doing here?
I mean, just, you know, obviously the former comments about President Trump referring to him as Hitler. But look, we all know in this cycle, I mean, people forget about this stuff. So we'll have to see, you know, whether these VP candidates end up impacting them a lot. You know, it was interesting, and this is the last thing I'll say, it was interesting to hear how the local Democratic chairs felt he could balance out this ticket, because of course Walz has had some concerns that he's a bit too progressive, and none of them I spoke to felt that was the case. They felt he actually did balance out the ticket, which was surprising. Well, not necessarily surprising, but when you think about, you know, someone to balance the ticket, you know, obviously Harris is from San Francisco. The common stereotype is, you know, more Democratic. Maybe someone like Bashir in Kentucky would more of a balance that ticket out. But a lot of people feel that he is. So
I feel he does balance that ticket pretty well. You know, you got to keep in mind he's a gun owner. He is a white man, a cisgendered white straight guy who happens to be a veteran with 20 plus years of military service. It makes sense for her to, you know, kind of get him in. I know when we had Dr. Wink on, I believe a couple days after you, that's exactly what he predicted. I mean, he said she's gonna want a white guy with semi-progressive values who is potentially a little more into the responsible gun ownership, who's a veteran. It makes sense to balance out, you know, the potential first female president, especially the first black female president, Indian American female president. It makes sense, and I mean, you see that their base is already reacting fairly strongly.
Yeah, no, they certainly are. You mentioned the donation numbers, and there's also the fact that considering the age of Biden, Trump, of course, the race we were dealing with just a couple of weeks ago, the importance of the VP really came to the forefront. And the VP discussion, at least to me, it seems like it's been elevated this cycle.
We are paying a little bit more attention to VP picks than I do remember ever paying attention to. And the age is interesting. I mean, Harris is 59, Walz is 60, Vance, I believe he's 40.
He's 39, 40.
39, 40. Trump's the oldest in the race right now. It's really completely flipped this race on its head. We had Biden as the Democratic Party potential nominee, being the oldest, getting a lot of flack for that. And now all of that's turning on its head and kind of going back towards Trump. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, it's all... We've seen these strategies sort of come to light. You know, now the Democratic Party is starting to call, and Walz was the one who kind of engineered this. I think that's a lot of what got him the pick, the, you know, the weird terminology.
The weird comment. He
the
was the first
messaging
one,
is very interesting, because now they are flipping the age on its head with Trump. Now, listen, is that going to really impact the race? I mean,
most likely.
We'll see. I'd wager it's probably not. But, you know, we've been in this, you know, crazy news cycle for the past month, and now these tickets are now formalized. It's Harris Walz, Trump Vance. Obviously, anything can happen in the next 90 days, but now we have a matchup, and we'll have to see. Obviously, Harris is rising in the polls. Do the polls always predict the president? No. But it's going to be fascinating these next 90 days.
It's something we definitely didn't expect.
And I'm glad that everyone shared their local perspective.
Alrighty. Well, once again, Michael Richardson. Michael, anything else to add?
I think we could be here 2 hours, but
That's very
watch
true.
the full package at 10 p.m.
Alrighty, sounds good.